Hey guys, just talking about the 14th promise that accompanies the prayer of the chaplet. Jesus requests that at 3 o'clock we implore his mercy, especially for sinners. Jesus asks that if we would immerse ourselves in his passion, even if just for a brief moment, especially at the moment of his agony or when he died on the cross. Jesus promises that he will not deny anything that you ask of him by virtue of his passion. That's a pretty strong promise. Every place else that I read, it says he will not deny our request as long as it's compatible with his will. But he doesn't say that here. He says at 3 o'clock, implore his mercy, especially for poor sinners, and then immerse ourselves. In other words, just contemplate and meditate on his passion, especially at the moment that he died on the cross. And that's when the lance was put through his side, through his lung, and into his heart. So his heart was pierced at that very moment. And that's when the blood and the water gushed forth for souls, for the ocean of mercy was opened wide for all mankind. But anyway, that's a very special promise. And if we really take to heart what he's saying there, at 3 o'clock, whether it be 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon, if we just implore his mercy for sinners and just contemplate or just think about what he went through, on the way to the cross. I mean, he was spat upon, he was crowned with thorns, he was beaten, he was stripped. Everything that he went through. And then at that moment when he died on the cross. And that's what he wants us to do. And he wants us to really take in what happened and what he was going through. And we'll never be able to fully understand the depth of his mercy. But just for what our human minds can comprehend, everything that he went through, he had been scourged and beaten and was blood from head to toe, and then he was made to carry this heavy cross. After all of that he had a crown of thorns on his head, and people were spitting on him and throwing stuff on him, and they didn't believe he was who he was. So they really put him through the test there. And then to have his hands and his feet nailed to this cross, and the cross was stood up, so he's hanging there. And that causes his lungs to fill with water, so he suffocates. Honestly, that's what's happening to him, in addition to everything else that he's suffering. And then at 3 o'clock, when he finally gives up his spirit, they lance his side, or they take the lance and they pierce his side. It goes through the lungs and into the heart. They were trained on how to make sure that you inflict death when you stab somebody with this lance. So when that happened, the blood and water came forth, and that's what he's asking us to really think about, to really take in. Anyway, so I hope you've been able to pray the Divine Mercy Chaplet. And I hope and pray that you really make it to Mass and to confession on Divine Mercy Sunday. Write it on your calendar. Set yourself a reminder on your phone. Mark it down wherever you need to. April 16th. April 16th, the Sunday after Easter Sunday. Make it to Mass. Go to confession and have everything washed away. Not just the sin itself, but the punishment for that sin as well. Who can afford to be without a promise like that? Oh, man. All right, guys. Have a great day.